Hey, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Invisible Condition. It's not all in your head. I'm your host, Jeff Pearson, and we want everybody to know with an invisible condition, we want you all to know that you do have a voice, you have a community, and you are never alone. And I am very excited to introduce our guest today. Janice Wood has always had a passion for serving others. In her early 40s, Janice was diagnosed with attention deficit disorder, or a lot of us just call it ADD, which helped her recognize similar signs in her elementary school age son, because, it's a kind of a common thing. So she recognized that her son was having some symptoms as well. So this personal journey sparked a desire to better understand and manage ADD, and it helped her gain, valuable skills for navigating life with the condition. And Janice's entrepreneurial spirit led her to start a TV show on E360 TV. So we'll talk about that too. So we got to catch her show too. So we'll cover that. It's called A Senior Citizens Forum, so which addresses topics related to seniors and their families. So, which is super important. So I'm excited to talk about that too. Let's bring Janice on and see what's going on here. Janice, thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it.
I'm so excited to be here. I just love the idea of talking about invisible conditions. There's so many different types of invisible conditions.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're everywhere. I know. I had no idea when we launched this thing a year and a half ago. We didn't know what we were getting ourselves into. And man, has it grown. And so, yeah, there's so many out there that I didn't even know existed. So it's been fun. But man, can you just for kicks, just to start us off here, can you just share what the heck was it like being diagnosed with ADD in your 40s? I know people that have been diagnosed, but usually it's when you're a kid. So what happened there? How did that come about?
Well, I work for a big municipality, and I was going, taking tests and trying to promote up the ladder.
Sure.
And I'm working with other people, and I was inputting time, which is the time people worked. All right. Yeah. And I was making mistakes in computers 40 years ago, which was relatively new. It was the black screen with the green lettering. Yeah. Okay. Yep. It was DOS, but some people don't even know what that is. Okay. And I'm going, I don't understand why these other people are not having a problem, and I am.
Right.
And you can't mess with somebody's time because that's their livelihood.
Right.
Well, I was really lucky that I met someone in that municipality that worked with something was called quality circles. I don't know if you know anything about quality circles. That's a whole subject, another subject. Okay. And so she was telling me, well, there's a program here where you can go to and we'll see if we can get you tested. And I'm going, okay. So I met with my supervisor and we got me into this program, and I was really lucky. They got me tested.
Yeah.
And at that time I had a small child. I had a teenager at the same time, and my marriage was going downhill. And I did the testing. And one of the things that they said to me, which was really powerful, well, you really need a rich man to support you because you can't even balance a checkbook. And I'm going, oh my God. One of the reasons why my marriage is going is downhill is because I never wrote things down on the register. No matter what I did, that just part of people that, that have ADD, there's certain things that are common, and even to write a check. And I'm going, well, it's not going to happen. I'm getting divorced probably, and I have
Yeah,
to
that's
support myself and I still have to take care of a teenager and we have to go on. So
yeah,
from all of that, it was a little overwhelming, but
yeah.
in the testing as an adult, you can look at, they said, well, let's look at your strong suits versus your weak suits.
Mm-hmm.
And let's focus on your strong suits. Okay. And that's what I did. I focused on what I was strong at doing. Okay.
Yeah.
And through that testing that I did, that I identified the ADD, I was able to go back to the municipality, the personnel department, and when they did the testing, I was able to get special accommodations.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah, because one of the things is that I'm a horrible speller. I can talk, I have a big vocabulary,
Sure.
okay?
Okay.
But no, how can I spell the word no? There's so many ways.
Right. Yeah.
Okay? I'm just
Right.
giving you an example, okay?
Sure. Sure.
I mean, there's a couple of words that is just like license is a word that
Yeah.
I just can't get those letters figured out.
Yeah.
And it really helped in taking the test and able for me to promote and work with what I was strong in.
Yeah.
And I worked 36 years. I started out as in the clerical field and I ended up in management.
There you go. Nice.
And you can do that. And one of the things that I learned as an adult, there were many people that are famous that had what they called dyslexia at that time, not ADD,
Okay. Mm-hmm.
that had that. John F. Kennedy had it.
Wow.
Okay. Nelson
Okay.
Rockefeller had it.
Wow.
And that's people that it wasn't known, and they were older than in an older age group than I am. But when I was growing up, there were signs of it, but they didn't know what that was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think what more, maybe in the last, 20 years or so, it's become a lot more, people can test for it and people nail it down. It's like, okay, this is what it is. This is how we treat it. Yeah. It's gotten a lot more, they figured it out more now. Yeah.
It figured it out. It's totally, because I can remember as a child sitting there, especially if you were working with words, and I would just be like, I'm going to scribble things down.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I noticed that in children, I noticed that in my son, but we'll talk more about him in a little bit.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure. Yeah.
Also, I noticed that I'm able to identify people who have it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I'll say to somebody, do you have that? And if they're in my age group, they're probably going to go, no. I'm going, I think you may. Okay.
Right.
I think you may. All right.
Yeah.
So as I said, I worked 36 years for the city, I'll say city of Los Angeles.
There you go. Yeah.
And a lot of different departments, and I've got exposed to a lot of different things, but I was able to work with my strong suits versus my weaknesses, which is one of them was absolutely spelling and grammar. And one of the things I'm around a lot of lawyer type people who are really good with writing. Okay. And I'll hear them say, well, you can tell somebody's not too smart if they don't know how their grammar isn't correct. That's not true. That's not true.
Right? No.
There may be a reason why you can't spell something correctly.
Yeah. It's true.
Or you don't put that comma in the right place.
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. Well, and I'm just going to throw this out here because there's probably a ton of people watching right now. They're going, yes, ADD, totally get it. my child had it, my brother struggled with it, my parent, whatever, but so I know it's relatively common, and I know a lot of people think they know a lot about it, but that being said, if you have questions, this is your girl right here. You want to ask questions? She's had she's had some time with it. She's learned some stuff. She's a good resource. So I have her email that if she do you mind if you like?
Oh no, I would love people to contact me.
Cool.
Because one of the things is that in my age group, and I'm a senior citizen, so okay. And they just didn't know about it at that time.
Yeah.
And the stigma of when you say the word psychologist or social worker, it didn't have the right meaning. It meant you were crazy or something.
Right. Yeah.
And I was, I was brought up with my father, who I adored. Okay.
Yeah.
He felt that way about it. Okay.
Mm.
And then his nephew became a child psychologist. So it was really crazy.
That's funny. Yeah.
But it was like, it had a stigmatism on it. Yeah. I don't think today that same stigmatism is there, but I know people still feel like you're not supposed to ask for help. Ask for help. If it's for yourself, even as a senior citizen, if you know you have a problem all your life of balancing a checkbook, now you don't have to worry about balancing a checkbook.
I mean, no, it's less of a thing now, but yeah, I understand what you're saying. Yeah.
Right. But you have certain symptoms of it, or one of my classic things is that I can have a conversation with the young woman that works for me who's ADHD, okay? Mm-hmm. All right? And we can start over here, go over here, and go over there, and then come back over here. And if somebody else is listening to us that does not have what we have, they're like, what the, what happened?
What in the world? Yeah.
Just happened. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's true. Well, and so with all of that, I mean, you worked a long career with this ADD. How did that affect, that, because it had to affect your work, which is kind of how they did the accommodations, right? But then your family life and your social life and how did you pull all that together?
Well, one of the things you're always dealing with, am I good enough? Okay.
Yeah.
Are people going to accept me? Okay. Because I'm different.
Yeah.
Because you're different. All right. Your understanding. I always feel like, was it putting a round peg in a square? Square box. Okay. We all don't fit in the same mold.
That's true.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's why we all have difference of opinions.
Well, yeah.
Okay. But learning in this country, educational wise, my experience is there's the square box, and then you have your little round circles that need to fit inside.
Right.
And we don't fit in there all the time.
Right. Yeah. I feel like now, though, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I've never struggled with ADD or ADHD, but so correct me if I'm wrong, but it feels like it's much more not common. That's not the word I was looking for. There's more awareness out there. And so there's more, like in the schools, in elementary schools and middle schools and high schools, there's a lot more awareness of it. And so there's a lot more, people work with it a lot easier now. Have you found that? Or is it?
I believe that. I know my son, who is now, I can't believe he's in his 40s. Okay.
Yeah.
When I went to the school, I saw that he was having problems in the second and third grade. Now he knew all kinds of stuff that was going around him.
Yeah.
He was you knew he was learning, okay?
Sure.
So in the third grade, I was getting this thing saying, well, he's a behavioral problem. And when you have your parent-teacher conference, so we're talking like, I want to say 35 years ago. All right.
Yeah.
All
Yeah.
right. I called the school psychologist and I called the school principal and I said, I would like to have my son tested. And I never got an answer back.
Right.
Never answered me back.
Yeah.
And so when I went to the parent-teacher conference on a Friday, the teacher said, your child is a behavior problem.
Oof.
And I said, no, my child is not a behavior problem. And I said, I've been leaving messages for the principal and for the school psychologist to call me, and no one has called me back. And she said, yes, they told me that they can't help you with this time. But your child is still a behavior problem. I said, no, my child is bored. I have been diagnosed with ADD. I'm seeing it in my child.
Mm-hmm.
And they were just learning at that time that this can be hereditary.
Okay.
There can be other reasons for it not have it be hereditary, but I learned that for me, it was hereditary. Okay.
Sure.
And I said, no, this is my child's problem. And at that time, there was a big thing called Johnny Can't Read.
Oh.
Okay. I don't know if you've heard that terminology.
No, I haven't. But
yeah.
Yeah.
It was called Johnny Can't Read. So I just said, this is Friday. And I said to the school teacher, I said, you don't set policy.
Right.
So nothing I'm saying is directed to you. But this, I won't use my exact words, does not work for me. I am not going to let my child go behind 3 years in school because this is policy. So I'm going to go to the newspapers if I don't have a phone call back on Monday from either the principal or the school psychologist, and I'm going to tell them why Johnny can't read.
Ooh.
All
right.
And I got a phone call back.
I bet you did.
And my child was tested.
Yes.
And at that time, they said, we don't like to put labels on children. It affects them.
Yeah.
But they had special programs set up that you would go through it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, boys will become more of a behavioral problem where girls don't.
Okay.
So like the girl that works for me, she wasn't diagnosed until she was out of high school.
Okay.
And her parents felt terrible that they didn't have her tested.
Well, I mean, I could see that being, I know somebody that is in his, he must be in his 60s or 70s at this point, but he said, you know what? I probably had or have ADHD, ADD, whatever can, version of it,
Right.
looking back, I probably had it in school. I probably have it now, but I never got tested and I've adapted and I'm living my life, so sometimes that works. Sometimes it's valuable to get tested. Sometimes it's, everybody's different. Right. But yeah,
but it is valuable to be tested because I'm going to go on I'm going to finish my son and then come back again. All right.
Okay.
This is part of the ADD.
Well, no, it's all good. You know what? I tell you what, hold that thought.
Okay.
And we'll go to a commercial and then we'll pick up with the story after we get back. How about that?
Right.
Let's do that. Okay. All right, everybody. I'm going to take that down so it's not playing during the commercial. And everybody stick around, though, because Janice has more to the story, and it's a good story.
Yeah.
So stick around, and we will see you on the other side of the break.
Hey there. You know, every time someone comes into your business or website and uses their card to pay, a percentage of that gets folded back into the system. But it can go to Hydro with Hope instead. If you'd like your business to support us rather than feed back into the system, scan the QR code and we'll show you how to do that while saving your business money.
In a world where office workers typically receive 130 daily emails and have an 8-second attention span, CoreCentrica, with her 4 decades of international marketing experience, has partnered with the Learning Code Institute and their 30 years of neuroscientific research. Together, we are crafting unique messaging strategies that resonate, connect, and ultimately convert our target audiences. CoreCentrica, where award-winning creativity and disruptive neuroscience come together. Scan this code now, or call and click, and let us show you how CoreCentrica's partnership with the Learning Code Institute is influencing how businesses connect with their audience, foster engagement, and achieve conversions.
Are you a change agent? You're going to love the Superpowers for Good show. I'm Devin Thorpe. Every Tuesday and Thursday morning at 11 Eastern, I host an inspiring changemaker on Achieve TV. Join us right here on E360 TV.
Hey, everybody, before we bring Janice back for the rest of the story, which is a good story, by the way, stick around. It's going to be great. I want to talk to you about Invisible Condition University, or ICU for short. I get it. The irony is not lost on me. We did that on purpose. Invisible Condition University is something my wife and I wish we would have had 10 years ago. Every time I had to go to surgery, and I've had 4 brain surgeries and 2 other surgeries in the last 10 years. I've had a few surgeries. Every time I would go, my wife, my family would be kind of left out in the cold, because once you leave the hospital, they don't really reach out to you much. And so you're kind of left out on your own. That's why my wife, Catherine, and I created ICU. We wanted to provide a place where other people like us, maybe like you, could have a community that listens, that cares, that walks with you, no matter what you're going through, no matter what the condition or illness or whatever it is that you're going through. We meet on Zoom twice a month, on the first and third Tuesday of every month at 3 p.m. Mountain Time for about an hour, or maybe it'll go longer. I don't know. It depends on the conversation, but we want to have a place for patients and their caregivers and their sisters or their parents or their whoever's working with them in their condition. We want you to come and ask questions and vent frustrations and find information that's maybe not provided by your medical professional. I don't know. There's a lot of information out there. So to join our growing community, just go to invisibleconditionuniversity.com, scan this QR code, whatever's easier for you. And I look forward to seeing you and on the next call, which incidentally is back here. It's October 1st. So we will see you on October 1st. And if you have questions, go to the website and we'll see you soon. So, all right, let's bring Janice back on here to continue with the story, the good story here. All right, Janice, take it away.
Okay, so continue with this. So with my son, I got him identified. I got him through the university system, and he graduated from the university.
Nice.
But we did testing right before he started going to college. We had a battery of new tests done at the university level, and they were able to accommodate him. But it's important to know that if you reach out and you do a little bit of research, you're going to find that there's help out there for you.
That's 100% true. And I know In fact, we've had organizations on this very show that provide that help, some of that help. There's a couple organizations that I actually want to connect you with after we get done here, because you might find interest in learning more about them, because it's exactly what they do. So it's been pretty cool. Yeah.
And
Yeah, I agree.
and it's like, and I find that like my son and myself, and even the young lady that works for me, okay, we have certain things in common, like dealing with self-confidence.
Yes.
Yes. Making sure you think in the positive manner versus a negative manner.
That's huge. Yeah.
Which is really huge, because it's so easy when you know your mind processes things differently.
Right. Yeah. That other people have no clue that's happening, by the way, because it's not obvious on the outside, right? It's invisible. You're just processing, but it's not always the way that other people think you should. Right. So you get, yeah,
it's very difficult. And like right now, my son has done something that is just like amazing to me, is that he got married.
Nice.
His wife is from Brazil, and he moved to Brazil. He's horrible with languages, horrible. And he's struggling to learn another language. Okay.
Well, yeah.
And it's very difficult.
That would be tricky. Yeah. I don't even know. It's hard for anybody to learn another language. Once you get past a certain age, like kids learn them really easy, right?
Right.
Because their mind is all pliable and, but yeah, as an adult, it's really hard to learn another language sometimes. Yeah. Without ADD.
without it. And I definitely, I know I'm focused. That's one of my strong points, is that once I decide I'm going to do something, I get focused.
It's on. Okay? Yeah.
So to go on with my story is after I retired.
Yeah.
And this is very common with people that have attention deficit disorders, or we get bored very easily. Our attention span, we don't do well with downtime. And I got bored very quickly. I did some volunteering, and I'm going, I can't deal with the politics of this. Okay.
Yeah.
I ended up getting my insurance license.
All right.
Okay. So that means that I'm always taking tests.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Okay. And then I picked a field of insurance. I said, well, I'm a senior. Wouldn't seniors rather deal with seniors on their medical? And you were talking, I love the ICU. I mean, what you were talking about. I love that. Okay. And I got myself into medical insurance and providing Medicare insurance.
There you go.
Okay.
That's huge. That's a very valuable thing right now. That's
And that is just, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm always taking tests. And it's a struggle, because you go into it every year. Am I going to get through this? Am I going to get through this? And yes, I get through it every single solitary year.
Yeah.
And that's we do it. And I do a very hands-on for my clients. But one of the things I always used to tell my son, and then I tell it to myself, and I tell it to Lauren, who works for me, is that once you learn something, we may learn it in a different path. But once you learn it, nobody's going to know it better than us.
Right? Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Because the Lauren, who works for me, she retains every single solitary thing she hears and reads.
Wow.
I don't do that.
Me neither.
She does that. It's like, how do you do that? Okay.
Right.
But there's that self-confidence that's not there, because we learn differently.
Yes. Yeah.
And that's the same thing, I think it's very common with people that I talk to. I mean, I have a friend who's also an insurance agent, but in a completely different field. And
Mhm.
I picked out that he had ADD just a couple of times of talking to him because he was like all over the place. And I
Yeah.
finally said, do you have ADD? But he is very successful in what he does because
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
learned it. He's graduated from college,
Yeah.
but
Wow.
he's more in my son's age group. Okay.
Okay.
We
Yeah.
can get through it. But to go back to me as I'm bouncing all over, okay.
Yeah, you're good.
After I retired and I did my volunteering and I got my license, and now I know Medicare and I know the changes that happen every single solitary year. Then we got into the pandemic.
Yeah.
And I got bored.
Right.
So I said, well, why not start talking on social media?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Because
That's what a lot of people did, I think. Yeah.
And one of the things I know from meeting with people, they don't know what their benefits are. People,
Yeah.
which I really think is important. Okay.
Yes.
If you're sitting and you own any form of property, do you know you need to have some type of trust for your family to make sure that they're protected? Okay.
Yeah.
What if you needed an accountant? What if you need that? Different things. And one of the things I did is I joined business networking groups. Okay. So I was able to start. So I went to my business networking group and I said, I'm starting this show. Would you guys come on and do this under social media? I had no idea what I was doing. No idea. And we just started.
Yeah.
And I would bring on a wills and trust attorney, a probate attorney. What happens if you were in a car accident? So, and I have to do research for all of these different shows that I talk about.
Sure. Yeah.
And it's really, I mean, it's taken me to an extremely interesting path.
Yeah. Well, and it's a big deal. And I just have to throw this out here. You kind of glossed over it, but I want to make sure I highlight it because this is important. And it's something that a lot of people with and without ADD, HD, any of that, with and without. So the fact that you did it is awesome. A lot of people say, I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do that, or I'm going to launch that. And they plan. And they have to be, and it's got to be perfect before they push it out. And you were like, you know what? I'm going to start this. Started, action, man. You just went for it and you started it. And I applaud you for that, because that is not something that is easy for very many people to just go. I don't have all the information, but I'm just going to launch.
I'm just going to launch.
Yeah.
But I went to the resources that I knew that helped support me, because I felt like if I got on there and I just started talking, just me, who wants to hear me talk about Medicare? Nobody. Okay. All right.
It's not the most exciting topic. I'm not going to lie. Yeah. It's
who wants to hear a talking head get up there? But if you're having a conversation like we're having,
yes, exactly,
that makes it interesting.
Yeah. Well done. Yeah, that's you're right. If I was gonna, if I had the choice of, listening to somebody talk for an hour by themselves or talk for an hour having a conversation with somebody about it, I would listen to that hands down every time over somebody just droning, we're just going to talk about it for an hour. Nah. So that's good. Good call. Good call.
But but the important part is that I got over my fear of doing it.
Yeah.
Yes, because it's scary.
Oof. Can be.
If somebody doesn't like me, they don't have to watch me.
That's right. Exactly. Yeah. Turn the channel.
Turn the channel. You can shut me off. Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. But I may give you something that may change your life.
or your parent, or your mom's life, or your
Your
grandma's
mom's
life,
life.
or your uncle's life,
Right.
or right. It might not just, you might not be, see, this is, I want to just throw this out there. People, I know that there's people out there that are going, oh man, this is something I should be paying attention to. And it might not be for you. It might be for your mom or your dad or your sister, or, so I'm very glad that you are here to talk about this, because there are a lot of people in our audience that I think are resonating with this. So yeah. So everybody reach out to Janice.
Yeah, reach out to me, because I can tell you what I've gone through. I can tell you what Lauren, who works for me, has gone through. I have my step grandchildren. I've watched their differences and what they've gone through, and one of them has some forms of learning disabilities. Okay,
Yep.
But it's just it's different.
Yeah.
And one of the things is that I can talk about real quickly. You can be in a household with a child that does not have ADD, does not have learning disabilities, and they may not achieve as much as the child with the disabilities.
Interesting.
Because
why is that?
Because if once you tap into those disabilities and you have that disability, and you learn how to work with your strong points, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You've learned how to work. You can learn how to work other systems and pick out different things.
Okay. Yeah.
But that doesn't mean like you're not going to be successful. Because of course. Right. We're all different. And I always I had a family attorney on one of my shows, and she said, there's as many people as there are out there, as there are more scenarios.
Right. Exactly. Everybody's individual. Yeah.
Everybody is an individual.
That's exactly right.
And it's really exciting. Thank you. This has been so exciting.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, I feel like this is such a big topic that needed to get out there, and it's doubly cool because you are somebody that is living and thriving with a condition that you can't see from the outside. You can't look at somebody and go, haha, of course they have ADD. Look at them. You can't see that. So it's important to get the word out,
And I'm going to use one thing that I can tell you. When you get on those message trees, okay?
Okay.
And my ADD, when I go in to type in, like on this, okay?
Sure.
It's horrible. I hate doing those messages. And that's my ADD.
Okay.
That makes it hard for me to do.
Yeah.
And I do it because I have to.
Sure.
But I still am working with it, and I know I have to work with it.
Yeah. That's the important part. Yep. Yeah.
And it's like, so what if you don't do it correctly the first 20 times? You're going to get it right the 21st time.
There you go. Exactly. Man, it's true. I tell you what, I love what you're getting out there, and I'm so excited that we're doing this, and we're going to go to one, but I feel like we're at a good spot. So we're going to go to one more break.
Okay.
And then we're going to wrap it up here in the next 15, 20 minutes, but stick around because we got more to talk about with Janice in just a couple of minutes. So stick around. We'll see you on the other side.
Tired of losing cell service in dead zones? Concerned about connectivity in emergencies? There is now an answer. Introducing the Love Pod. The world's first affordable encrypted global internet Wi-Fi hotspot connects with multiple service carrier networks and is satellite assisted when no service carrier networks are available. So it works virtually anytime, anywhere. Connect up to 9 devices, like our cell phone, laptop, desktop, TV, security cam, and more. Stream, chat, text, download, and make phone calls, all with no roaming fees. With mesh capability, the Love Pods will grow in strength and speed with each new pod activated to create a private terrestrial-based intranet called Love Global Network. The Love Pods are dual blockchain encrypted with Love's proprietary 2048-bit cube chain encryption, giving you the ultimate protection in data privacy and security against digital attacks and hacks to your devices. You are no longer tracked, and your data is never sold. Get the Love Pod, your private, encrypted, portable global internet Wi-Fi hotspot, and stay safe and stay connected.
Hey everyone, Coach Greg here from Living Empowered TV, where we help women live empowered lives through amazing guests, life hacks, mental, physical, and emotional health. See us on the Achieve Network, 12 o'clock Wednesdays Pacific time on E360 TV. Don't miss out.
All right, welcome back, everybody. We are back with Janice, and we have been talking about ADD. And just real quick, I don't know why I didn't think of this sooner, but so ADD and ADHD are the two that I know of that are like, okay, it's one or the other, but what's it's attention deficit disorder or attention deficit hyperactive disorder. Is that what's the H stand for? I can't remember.
I'm not quite sure because I went, oh my God, I should have got that information before I sat down here today.
I know there's a difference, but hyperactivity maybe or something.
Well, hyperactivity, and I know I can ask her. She's right in the other room. But I know it's more hyperness, more emotional type problems.
Oh, okay. Interesting. But yours was just the straight ADD, and that was your son too. Just ADD.
Yeah, I don't have emotional issues that go along with it, but so many people with AD, attention deficit, do have emotional issues that go along with it.
Sure, it's understandable. Yeah.
And
sure.
I wish I had a better explanation, but I can send it to you for your
yeah, we could put it in if you want to. Great. Yeah, you could email it to me, and then we can put it in the notes.
I could give you the exact definition.
Sure. Yeah.
But there's more types of learning disabilities. Okay.
Oh yeah.
Just that.
Oh yeah.
But they're out there. And
they are.
You have to work with it.
It's true. It's true. So I like to ask a question of everybody on the show, and sometimes I miss it, but most of the time I ask the same question of every guest. And I want to ask you because you were diagnosed a little bit later in life than typical. And it's just, I imagine that probably presented some interesting challenges that maybe somebody that was diagnosed as a child, wouldn't have had. So I'm curious, on those tough days, which sometimes they happen, you're sometimes you have harder days than others. How do you still maintain hope?
I think for me, I feel if I'm interested in something, I look at as life as a challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Nice.
All life, it doesn't matter who you are. Things happen to you in your lifetime.
Yeah.
May it be positive or negative, but those negative things I look as a challenge or a hiccup in life that you just have to get past.
Yeah.
And some of them are harder than others.
Yeah. Yes.
I mean, we go through different types of emotional things. A sick child, a divorce,
Mhm.
a loss of a job,
Yeah. Yeah.
many different things. I feel like I'm a fortunate person.
Yeah.
I have to look at what's positive in my life
Uh-huh.
and then turn around and try to take that negative and turn it into a positive.
Love it. Yeah. Yeah. So if you were sitting across from somebody that was just diagnosed, just maybe in their 40s, maybe in their 40s or 50s, and they're just now finding out like this is what's going on, and they get they're in the midst of like, okay, now I have ADD. Now what the heck do I do? What advice would you give to maybe women in their 40s or 50s and beyond that who may be dealing with late in life diagnosis of this kind?
I I would
Yeah.
say to them, look for what your strong suits are
Mm,
and build off those strong suits.
nice.
Because as you're an individual, we both may have ADD, but we may have different strong suits.
Yeah, that's true. Do you find that more evident in like what kind of personality type somebody might be, or what kind of like it probably involves all of it, right?
It does. It does involve all of it.
Yeah. So
It
if
does
somebody,
because personality types. Uh, I luckily being on the show, I've been having my own show.
yeah,
I've had people on there that have been really inspirational, and I
yeah,
think, oh my God, whatever I had is nothing compared to what they've been able to conquer and
right,
they've been putting out there.
totally. Oh my
And I
gosh,
and I think it's you have to not live in the negative, which is
mm,
really hard to do.
sometimes, yeah, some days,
I mean,
yeah,
because you have those negatives. I mean, I've heard somebody say you have a boardroom in your head, and you have different people as part of that board.
uh-huh,
And those negative board members, you have to say, well, what are you saying
yeah, right,
that I can take and turn it into a positive?
ah,
And what can that positive board member achieve?
nice. Yeah, I tell you what, I say it all the time. I don't even remember where I heard it the first time, but I love it, and so I kind of stole it. But
Yeah.
but I like to say, your attitude is the only thing you actually have 100% control over. Everything else is what happens to you, but how you respond, not react, how you respond to what happens to you, that is your attitude. That's the only thing you have total control
It's the
over.
attitude. So
Yeah.
it's just like me as a senior,
Yeah.
I'm going through like the different stages that seniors go through, that we have to go through.
Sure.
Uh, and I may not like the health that I can't control. Okay.
Sometimes, sure. Yeah.
And I don't have to let it define me.
Yes.
So that's the same thing in finding. Don't let those, if you're just finding out in your 40s, 50s, or even older that you do have attention deficit disorder, don't let the negative part of it define you. Find
Yes.
the positive part of it and move on. Because maybe you're good at getting up and giving a speech in front of a crowd,
Yeah.
but maybe you're good at doing math.
There you go. Yeah.
Somebody else isn't, which is a completely different. Because I was
Yeah.
talking to someone, it was just yesterday, who
Oh,
was saying that she had attention deficit disorder, because I was talking about coming on this show.
yeah.
And one of the signs is she can't tell the left from the right.
Ooh. Yikes. Yeah.
And which is very, I mean, and this person graduated from NYU, okay?
Uh-huh.
And she doesn't know the left from the right. But I know as a ADD person, that makes sense to me, because I don't know west from south or east if I get turned around.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
But I figured out ways that I know how to find the left versus the right.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and that's the thing. Anybody with an invisible condition, the one thing I've found that has been, I mean, I shouldn't say just the one thing, there's many things that they have in common, but one of the most obvious things is we are adaptable. We are adaptable people, because we have to be, with a condition like ADD or, any number of things, you have to be adaptable.
I 100% agree with that.
Yeah.
You have to be adaptable and learn how to work with it.
Yeah.
And
For sure.
me, sitting on a couch or like I was told, I need to find a rich man to support me. Well, that's not the way life went. Okay.
That's not usually how it goes. No, that's great.
Okay. But I have the attitude is that I need to take care of me and support me. And I have to be the best I can be.
Yes. Yeah. Because that's where it starts. That's that whole attitude thing again. You can only control you,
Right.
No,
and I learned along in the process of being diagnosed over 40 years ago.
Yeah.
I also learned that I'm only responsible for changing me.
Yes.
I can't change my husband. I can't change my children.
Nope.
I can guide them, but I can't change them.
Right. You can advise them, you can guide them, but you're, especially once they leave the nest and start living their own life and start, if you're lucky, they'll come back and ask for advice.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's the best you can do now. Like Lauren, who works for me, who I mentioned before.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I will tell her, let's look at this a little bit differently. Okay.
Sure.
To try to get her to make that little bit of a change. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it works but I'm only responsible for changing my attitude.
Yes.
And be the best you can be. I don't know what else I can say to someone.
It's true. No, it's true. That's perfect. Because I mean, that's what I think everybody deep down knows that you can only control yourself. You can't, but it's almost like built into us. We want to try. So it's good to hear it over and over. Yeah.
Right. Because I know I can't change somebody else, but I can change me.
Exactly.
And that helps because one of the things that, especially growing up when I grew up, and we still have that even today. If you're brought up in a negative life and you can't change the way you look at something, it's very difficult.
It can hurt you. Yeah, for sure.
But it doesn't matter if you have any type of disability, okay?
Yes.
Or you don't have it. If you don't look at things that, how can I do this better than just saying, okay, I quit.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I love it. That's that's exactly right. Well, Janice, I wish we had more time, but the clock just kept ticking and we're out of time. So, but oh my gosh, I am so thankful that you have taken the time to tell your story. And this has been educational for me. I hope it has been educational for you. I hope you thought of several people that you want to put in touch with Janice, so she can help you. So thank you so much for being here today, Janice. I so appreciate it.
Thank you. I'm very honored to be on your show. And I just, when I, was learning this is what you did, I was so excited to say I like to work with you.
Thank you so much.
And what you're doing is so great because it needs to be out there.
I appreciate that. Thank you so much, Janice. All right. We'll talk to you again soon. All right.
Thank you.
Stick around. I'll talk to you after the show.
Okay.
All right. Here we go. All right. Oh my gosh. Good stuff. All right. I know there's people out there that are writing stuff down now and going, ooh, I need to refer this person to Janice and this person to Janice. So get on it. All right, everybody, like, follow, subscribe, share all the things. And I will look forward to seeing you on our next show, which is Friday, September 27th. And until then, have an amazing day. We'll see you soon.